times. What are the fastest known times, and why are you trying 100 of them?
So I kind of arrived at this interesting place in 2018 where my running was coming back after the car accident finally. So I was actually able to, I can't run fast like I used to before the car accident, but I got back to where I could run long distances and it wouldn't like swell up like a grapefruit. So the natural thing was to be like, well, I guess I'll go do like big runs between peaks I want to climb and just do these big link ups. So I was already doing that stuff with a buddy and we were out just having fun. And then I discovered FKT's fastest known times, which basically, the basic way to sum them up is it's sort of a course. If someone's on like Strava, they might know about Strava segments. So it's kind of similar to that, except it's more curated with like big classic routes that other people want to do and repeat. And they can be old famous lines or named trail systems or ascents of peaks. So there's a lot of this variety of how they can be done and what they can be, and what kind of terrain you can move on. So they're almost like a virtual race in that sense, but they're virtual races that you can do on your own time. You can like watch the conditions and pick the ideal day, and you just track it with your GPS watch and taking, geo-stamped photos on your phone to prove that you actually did what you say you did. And yeah, you race to set the fastest known time on that given route. And so you're able to do these virtual races, if you will, in places that could never host a race, on the side of a rock face, free soloing up a 5 pitches of 5-6 or something, where it's like no race director could ever put people out on that. But with the fastest known time, if that's the kind of thing you're into, go for it. So I fell in love with that freedom to create and that freedom to find amazing lines and just the diversity of skills necessary to complete some of these routes where you're mixing running and rock climbing or running and glacier travel, moving at high elevations. Some of my favorite ones have been multi-sport efforts too, because of my background in triathlon. So biking and swimming and then climbing a mountain that has technical aspects. So yeah, it became natural to be like, oh, this is a great fit for me. I have fitness. I have this background in fitness and in training. I have these skill sets for moving alone in these really remote spaces. So let's go out and just start tackling these. And I think also the reason, like, if you ask the question, like, well, why do so many of them? I guess the thought there is I've never been much of I just want to do one single race this year and have it be perfect. I've never much been that person. Like the ADHD kid in me is like, let's just go on more adventures. And so choosing let's do 100 of them, to me, it's like, oh, that means if I succeed, I'll have done 100 awesome, memorable, amazing experiences where I pushed myself to my very best in beautiful spaces. And it just became kind of obvious that I was suited to that and that kind of pursuit.
What's harder for you, doing the triathlon or doing, these fastest known times up a mountain? Because it sounds like it'd be the latter, which is weird to say.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose with the controlled environment of like a race course, you are able to dial it out a little bit more on like a pure just physical output, like how many watts are you putting out at any given moment. But as far as what's harder for the experience, like if you calculate the whole thing, by far these FKTs, by far, just because you're out there dealing with your own emotions, dealing with fatigue and sleep deprivation, dealing with, all the normal things that would happen in a race, plus, the logistics and the route finding. Yeah, definitely a higher level of perception, of perceived effort rather, with FKTs.